Mr. Draft. Not quite smart enough, were you? They simply don't make terrorists like they used to.
True. First of all, I came to G.I. Joe later. I was not in the original first bunch of episodes. Slipstream doesn't come in until, I'm not sure.
Season 3.
Was it season 3?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your buddy, the 14th Prime, and today we're going to talk about something that's a little touchy with everybody, and it has been since the end of Rise of the Beast. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Now that the new Transformers movie has been confirmed, and the new writer and all that stuff. I mean, it took me a while, but I had to think about it. G.I. Joe and Transformers have had such a huge relationship in the past that I'm starting to actually like the idea of this movie. If you were alive in the 80s, in early 90s, and you watched G.I. Joe and Transformers, you know that, well, for one, they were under the same umbrella. They were under the same animation team as G1 Transformers, and they also shared a lot of characters. The voice Chris Latta did Starscream and then did Cobra Commander. And there was no change in his voice. Bumblebee, Dan Gilzevan, he voiced a lot of, and a lot back and forth. There were a lot of back and forths of voice actors that went between the two shows. There was a crossover cartoon where Cobra Commander was actually on the G1 cartoon. Disguised, and I think the name of the title of the show was A Man Named Snake, or it was something to that. I gotta look it up now, but there was a crossover episode, and I remember as a kid I went crazy because I thought I'd found something that nobody else knew or whatever. But with that being said, I don't think this is a bad idea. So they did an interview, and the gentleman said that he only wants to have like 6 main characters, 3 Transformers, 3 G.I. Joe members. Apparently Chris Hemsworth did such a great job in the unforeseen Transformers 1 that he is on board to be one of the G.I. Joes in the movie. Which I think is cool. You know what I mean? I haven't seen Transformers 1, and I'm assuming that it's wonderful. Like, they said that when the movie was over with, the whole crowd stood up and gave it a standing ovation. That's something, that's big. So, but with that being said, with him joining as G.I. Joe, and then like the toys, the only thing about it that I'm thinking about, and I said this in a previous video, is if they do the toys, are they going to come with like little, hold on, I got one somewhere. Yeah. Like, will they come with little G.I. Joe, you know, like Lego size people for them to be able to fit inside of, you know, like a deluxe? Like, how's that going to work out with the toys? But actually, let's not use her. Here we go. Will you, like, are they going to take G.I. Joes and make them like this size to put them, like, even still, like, how's that going to work with the toys? That's all my concern is. I mean, the movie, I'm going to see the movie regardless. My thing is the toys. But with that being said, I think it's a good idea. I'm starting to think it's a good idea. As long as it's not like 20 G.I. Joe members and 5 Transformers. They also said that he wants Rise of the Beast Mirage to be in this movie. And Cobra Commander. So, I mean, I guess we'll just have to sit back and wait, see how, you know, as soon as we find out that they'll start shooting, which will probably be like October or whatever, we'll start getting glimpses and leaks and pics of everything that's going on. But until then, it's not a bad idea. It's really not. I mean, it's not the first time that it's happened. Transformers and G.I. Joe go hand in hand. They've had crossover comics. They've had crossover toys. They've had crossover episodes. And they did that with a lot of the shows back then. If you were a little girl and you watched Jem, which Jem was one of my favorite shows as a young boy. I loved little teenage punk rock band girls. That was like one of my favorite shows with Transformers and G.I. Joe and He-Man was Jem. But if you watch Jem, some of the girls from Jem are actually in that Transformers episode Blaster Blues, I believe. And the girl that loved Power Glide. You can see them. And then there's another episode of Transformers where they're in the girls from gym are in a classroom in Transformers, in the Transformers universe. Same thing with and like G.I. Joe, they had a bunch of messed up the people that came in and did the colors or was doing the ink and the colors of the animations of the show, and they had painted like Optimus Prime. You'll see an Optimus truck roll by, on the highway, or you might see a Bumblebee car, and it's been happening. Let's see how it works out. That's all I'm saying. I'm going into this with a positive thought with all positive thoughts about this movie. I hope it does great. I love the fact that 40 years later, we're still talking about my favorite toy line as a child. I'm glad that I'm old enough now that if I go in the store and want a G.I. Joe or Transformer or whatever, I can get it. And you know what I mean? Like, I still feel like that 8-year-old boy when I walk out and get in the car, except now I have to drive me and my wife and my baby home, or I'm on the phone with my teenage son. Guess what I got today? You know what I mean? So I'm excited either way. And again, like I said, this isn't the first time that Transformers and G.I. Joe have crossed over comics, movie, you know what I mean? And even if you watch the old G.I. Joe, like Retaliation and the other movies, it was basically Transformers without robots. I'm just saying, just watch it. You'll see what I mean. And I can see how they go together in the universe, you know what I mean? Like, we'll see. Anyway, it's your buddy, the 14th Prime. We'll talk about this at a later time. Y'all have a good afternoon.